Imagine building a business worth millions of dollars. No website, no Instagram, no Google ads, and in many cases, no internet at all. Now imagine that this business is more likely to survive than almost any startup in Silicon Valley. Sounds impossible, right? Because here's the strange part. Roughly half of all new American businesses fail within 5 years. But researchers have found that around 95% of new Amish businesses are still running after that same 5-year mark. So how does a community that rejects much of modern technology quietly build some of the most durable businesses in America? Let's break it down. First, who are the Amish? They're a Christian group that settled in America over 300 years ago. Today, there are more than 400,000 of them, mostly in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana. And their population doubles roughly every 20 years. Most people picture them as farmers frozen in time. Simple, old-fashioned, cut off from the real economy. But that picture is wrong, because behind those quiet farms is one of the most impressive small business engines in the country. And the reason isn't religion, it's economics. Let me show you. Here's the first myth to kill. The Amish don't hate technology. They're actually very deliberate about it. Before adopting any new tool, community leaders ask one question: will this help our community or slowly pull it apart? A smartphone might connect you to the world, but it can also distract workers, isolate families, and pull kids away from learning a trade. So instead of banning technology outright, they filter it. And this is where it gets clever for business. The Amish separate owning a technology from using one. They might not own a car, but they'll hire a driver. They may not run electric power lines into the house, but the workshop can still run on hydraulic power, air pressure, or a diesel generator. Same result. Different rules. That one idea, use it, don't depend on it, shapes everything about how they make money. Now the big shift. For most of their history, the Amish were farmers. But as families grew and farmland got expensive, there simply wasn't enough land to go around. So they had a choice: work in the outside world, or build something of their own. Most chose to build. In some communities today, fewer than 1 in 10 families still make their main living from farming. Historians call this the biggest change in Amish society in the last 100 years. The result? Thousands of small businesses, workshops, stores, crews, all run by a community that ends formal school at the 8th grade. And these aren't hobbies. Estimates put the number of Amish business owners in the thousands, and in some settlements, almost every family is tied to one. Which raises an obvious question. How do people with no high school diploma and no college run companies that outlast everyone else's? The answer starts with how they learn. An Amish kid doesn't sit in a classroom until age 22. By his early teens, he's already working beside his father or a neighbor, measuring wood, laying brick, running the shop. By the time an average teenager is picking a college major, an Amish teenager can have 10 years of hands-on experience and a real trade. School gives you theory. This gives you skill, discipline, and customers before you even start. So what do they actually build? A few industries stand out: construction and roofing. Amish crews are known for showing up on time, working fast, and doing it right. Furniture and cabinet making. Solid wood, built by hand, made to last generations, not seasons. Then there's manufacturing. In parts of northern Indiana, so many Amish men work building recreational vehicles and trailers that whole factory towns lean on their labor. And then bakeries, greenhouses, quilts, and storage sheds, small shops selling products people actually trust. Most of these are tiny family operations with fewer than 10 workers. But some have grown into serious companies pulling in more than $5 million a year. No app, no ad budget, just wood, tools, and word of mouth. Which brings us to the real secret. Here's what should be impossible. They sell without online marketing. No funnels, no influencers, no ads following you around the internet. So how do customers find them? Reputation. In the Amish economy, Your name is your marketing. Build a great table, and the person who buys it tells their neighbor. That neighbor tells two more. Word of mouth is slow, but it's almost free. And it compounds. A modern business rents attention, paying for ads every single month. An Amish business owns its reputation. Build it once, and it keeps selling for decades. And trust here isn't just a nice word. It's a business asset. Think about it. When you see Amish made, what comes to mind? Handcrafted. Honest. Built to last. A well-built Amish table can outlive the person who bought it and get passed down to their grandchildren. That's not a marketing slogan. It's the product doing the advertising for you, year after year. That reputation took generations to earn, and no single business wants to be the one that ruins it. So quality stays high. Not because of some corporate rule book, but because the whole community's name is on the line. It might be the most powerful brand in America that nobody actually owns. Now let's talk money, because this part is genuinely different. Most startups launch on borrowed money. Loans, investors, credit cards, debt from day one. The Amish tend to do the opposite. They save first and borrow little. And when someone does need money, they often turn to their own community instead of a bank. There are stories of one Amish owner selling a business to another and simply leaving the money in the account for the buyer to pay back over time. No interest, just trust. Less debt means less pressure. And less pressure means they can be patient, making decisions for the next decade instead of scrambling to cover a loan next month. That's a huge hidden advantage. So let's add it up. Low debt, low overhead, cheap, honest marketing, skilled workers trained from childhood, and a brand built on trust. Put it all together, and you can see why their failure rate is so low. In some studies, fewer than 5% of Amish businesses close in their early years. But, and this matters, it's not magic, and it's not perfect. Because there's a trade-off to all of this. That 8th grade education can make it harder to scale into complex modern industries. Limiting technology can slow them down when competitors automate. And cheap imported furniture, often from overseas factories, undercuts their prices hard. When a machine can build a table in minutes, competing on speed and price is brutal. There's also a quiet tension inside the community. Success brings money. And money can pull people toward the very worldly life the Amish are trying to avoid. So this isn't a fairy tale. It's a trade-off, one they make on purpose. Still, strip away the buggies and the beards, and the Amish are teaching a masterclass in business. Build real skills before you build a company. Spend less than you earn. Avoid debt you don't need. Treat your reputation like your most valuable asset, because it is. And think in decades, not days. None of that requires the internet. None of it requires venture capital. It just takes patience and discipline, the two things modern business is often in the biggest hurry to skip. So here's the final thought. Technology can make a business faster. It can help it grow, reach further, sell more, but speed isn't the same as strength. A business can grow fast and still be fragile. One bad quarter, one big loan, one lost trend away from collapse. Trust, reputation, discipline, and long-term thinking, those are the things that make a business last. The Amish didn't beat the modern economy by using better tools. They beat it by remembering something the rest of us keep forgetting. The oldest business secrets still work. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps more than you know. And I'll leave you with one question for the comments. What if the whole world was built like an Amish community? How much better might the place we all live in actually be?